Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you AmberT versus włochaty in the semi-final of the 5th Asia Pacific tournament. Today we're going to be seeing Omaha, and on the Allied side the 15th Infantry Scots, and on the Axis side the 17th SS-Panzergrenadier, włochaty bringing those back out once again. So this is an interesting matchup. Before we talk about that, let's talk about what the stakes are here. So włochaty or AmberT, if either of them win, they will get a free pass straight through to the final. The loser of this matchup will then drop down to the lower bracket and will have a second chance at getting back to that final, but it's going to be the long way. So it's not necessarily severe to lose this game, but it would certainly make things a lot easier if you win it. Now let's talk about that matchup. 15th Infantry versus 17th SS on this map. Both divisions have pretty strong units for this map. Omaha, I really like it. I think it's probably one of my favourite 1v1 maps. But 15th Infantry, they have the AVRE and the Honeys. And both of them really strive at the 600 meter range, where the Honey, for example, can use all of its guns, including its 30 cals. And then the AVRE can use its machine gun and its main gun, which has a limited range of 600 meters. So as an example, this tree line's a good sort of example for the blue side at least, where AmberT is playing off the 15th Infantry. I'm pretty sure this is almost exactly 600 meters to these buildings. Yeah, just about. And there's plenty of examples of this around this map, which you can utilize from both sides. And that's something that definitely makes the 15th Infantry, with those power units, very, very good on this map. On the side of the 17th SS, it's a different story, especially with the way that we've seen włochaty play it in the past. He will rely on his Stoßtrupp and Panzerschrecks to get up close and personal, and the way he's going to do that is utilizing the close range engagement and the terrain that allows him to do that. So for example, his engagements in these towns will definitely fall in his favour due to the Stoßtrupp versus rifles. Same on the top side here if he manages to utilise this tree line or even the orchard on the other side. Stuff like that. And so he's going to be pushing to get Stoßtrupp and Panzerschrecks close to the infantry of the 15th Infantry. And by doing so and removing that infantry threat, the 17th SS can then control the units like the Honeys and the AVREs throughout the rest of the game. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But either way, let's see what units are actually going down, and we'll sort of discuss the strategies that they may be using. So on the side of włochaty, he has 3 units of Stoßtrupp down here with the Command Infantry and a Recon. He's also got the Stug 3. And that makes me think that he is going to go for a concerted effort to get into this town on the other side of the 50-50. Which, if he can control, would be really, really good for his territory throughout the rest of the game. Because then he's only got to hold the top side and he will basically be able to control this bottom side for the rest of the match. Like Stoßtrupp, again, matching up quite well against the rifles in heavy cover fighting. Further up, there's going to be 2 units of Stoßtrupp with the mortar and a command. Then we see Panzergrenadiers and a Panzerschreck. There's going to be a unit of Stoßtrupp there, and a unit of Stoßtrupp and a Panzerschreck for the top side. On the bottom for AmberT, it looks like he's coming along with his rifles, although there's quite a lot of them here. Some of these could be Bren Group. There's a 6-pounder and a command carrier with the command infantry. Further to the mid, it's going to be the Honey, supported by infantry, and the command carrier there with the command infantry and the 6-pounder. So 6-pounder for sort of the mid area and the bottom side could be quite a risk to this Stug. On the top, there's another 6-pounder, 2 units of infantry, and it looks like 2 units of infantry coming to the mid as well. For this bottom side, Nebelwerfer coming in hot with the włochaty, unloading that early on. I think I said that was a mortar, so it actually turned out to be a Nebelwerfer. And let's definitely put the pressure on the rifles here, pin them down. There was 1 unit of Bren Group, so I was right to identify that there was more infantry than usual, especially with the addition of so many 6-pounders and a Honey. But under fire come the Stosstroop as they get closer. It looks like Włochaty is going to unload them as well. Get the smoke down to cover his advance possibly. Bring group, they really don't do well at close range. So these Stosstroop should just absolutely annihilate them. As well as the help from the Stug 3. That should definitely fall in Włochaty's favour. The main thing to be watching out for is what happens with the engagement versus the rifles, because if these Stosstroop get picked off in the open, then things could go very bad here for Włochaty. Like, he is losing men here, as you can see, before they can even engage, and this is something that the rifles can be good at doing versus Stosstroop. So one unit of Stosstroop not using smoke is just going to get killed off. These other units of Stosstroop, however, do have their smoke, and maybe will use those this time to start house jumping forwards, which would be the better way to take that engagement rather than just running up. But maybe Włochaty a little bit worried about the engagement up here, where his Stosstroop are being taken apart by the overwhelming numbers of rifles. Elsewhere on the map, Włochaty found himself a little bit of a salient in the mid with these Panzergrenadiers. Good choice of placement for these Panzergrens. Can definitely hold back infantry at range, but we'll have to be wary of the 600 meter range engagement. The Stosstroop here at close range, within like the 100 meter sort of house engagement that's going on, they are going to definitely win, and that's where I mentioned that they would be better than rifle squads. But when Stosstroop get caught out in the open, that's when things go downhill. Now the IG-18 that has found shots onto this 6-pounder. If the 6-pounder gets pinned down, the Stug 3 can advance and stop this honey from being a problem. Meanwhile though, Stosstroop are going to move up. They take out the command carrier, take out the command infantry, and that could be very, very bad for AmberT and the rest of his units here, because they now have the vulnerability of being surrendered, especially if this Nebelwerfer gets reloaded and the pressure gets put on once again. Stosstroop here, look at this 2v1. Oh, that is nasty. Those rifles getting absolutely melted. This 6-pounder does get spotted by the Spähtroop, and the IG-18 is going to be engaging that. Stosstroop are going to try and continue up, but do need to be careful not to cross that main road, otherwise they will come under fire from a lot of units. And here, honestly, there is so many rifles that it may not matter that the Stosstroop are good at close range, because AmberT has just completely overwhelmed them. As they sort of lack the numbers that the rifles do. Like, there is 5 rifle squads here and 1 Stosstroop left. The likelihood that that Stosstroop is going to make any ground is very, very slim. Further up though, we do see some rifle surrender. Rifles trying to push onto these Panzergrens are going to get seen and pinned down in the open. Panzerschreck's trying to move up to get itself into a position to hit this road. Honestly, from the edge of this tree line, almost perfect place to have it. Maybe not so much in the orchard though. IG-18, that's going to be able to help the infantry engagements as they approach the Stosstroop and the Panzergrenadier down here, but with the honey coming through, that's going to end up pinning it down and forcing it back. Panzergrenadier then is kind of left for dead here. Stosstroop already gone. And still a 50-50 more or less. Włochaty did find himself the 16 points early on, but I don't think these infantry engagements necessarily went the way he had hoped, because I think AmberT just spammed him with so many rifles at the start here that it's just been extremely hard for him to deal with. And you can see, like, AmberT has focused on availability, because I'm pretty sure you can get a card of like 1 vet rifles. But in this case, none of AmberT's infantry comes in with like a single veterancy. It's provided by the rifle leader down here, for example. Some more rifles going to be pushing into the main town side with some more rifle leaders on their way. I'd like to see a honey sort of move up to the mid here to maybe pin down the Panzergrens. That would be good to assist these rifles that have been pinned down in the open. But I guess the Stug 3 is on its way there, and that's something that AmberT will have to be wary of throughout this game, as he has seen the Stug 3 firing upon him already. Nebelwerfer has been reloaded, so we'll have to wait and see where that is utilised. But it seems as though Włochaty is going to have to fall back onto Panzergrenadiers, as the majority of his Stosstroop in Phase A will have been killed by now. He's only got this squad left, and you can see that the KFZ-70s are what he's bringing in, which easily tells you that they are Panzergrens instead of Stosstroop, because Stosstroop come in Schwimmwagens. And that's something that actually I would recommend people get used to, is sort of identifying transports. It's hard to tell, I think, what veterancy a unit has before you spot it. But in terms of the transports can often give away what your opponent is bringing in if you have enough knowledge about the division specifically. So down here, Panzergren's going to be engaging rifles. Rifles actually beat Panzergrens at close range. I've mentioned it before. Panzergrens, because they only have 5 HE, don't really have the pinning power that the rifles do at that range with their 8 HE. So rifles can overwhelm Panzergrenadiers quite easily. But here comes a Nebelwerfer shot once again. That's a little bit off target. Might end up killing those rifle leader. As long as the rifle leader stay in the command carrier there, though, they should be fine. These Panzerschrecks have been found and most likely killed off. We did see the rifles pin and surrender a unit of rifles further up, but there goes the Panzerschreck. Panzergrenadiers are surrounded. Panzergrenadier is under fire. If the Panzergrenadier dies, the Panzergrenadiers instantly surrender, and AmberT is going to have quite a nice infantry advantage moving towards Phase B. But when Phase B comes about, there is going to be the availability of more Stosstroop. Oh, lovely engagement there though. Stug 3 takes out the Honey. We do see the Stosstroop take out command carrier. Very, very good engagement for włochaty, taking out one of the Honeys. That really stops the pinning power that they have. As you can see, it takes no time at all for a Panzergrenadier squad here, for example, to be pinned down. Since there's no command, that's at risk of being surrendered by the command carrier. It depends if AmberT notices or even saw that. But either way, rifles are being microed into this town and have definitely made ground. IG-18 going to be coming in to sort of stop the bleeding. Thanks to this little salient here, and this one unit of Stosstroop doing pretty damn well. Stug 3 takes out another Honey. Very, very nice indeed. Good micro from the Stug 3 here from włochaty, making sure that that does pick up those important kills. Panzergrens are going to be able to continue to pin down rifles in the open for now. IG-18 is looking to basically pin some more of these rifles as they hit the edge buildings, but the Honey is able to fire on that directly, so that's not ideal. Stosstroop do get cleaned up in this tree line, which means the 6-pounder will be able to move into there and provide a more presence against any armoured help. Stug 3 though is still trying to do some damage, and we can see that honestly land has kind of been traded here. AmberT found the advantage on the bottom side, is going to push with that advantage into włochaty's town, whereas włochaty on his side of things, he's used these Panzergrenadiers along with this singular Stosstroop to just break into this town. He does have to be very careful though, because like I mentioned previously, there is no command here, so a command carrier or even a Honey could definitely just fast move through this town and get a bunch of surrenders if multiple of those units do get pinned. IG-18 coming under fire here from these rifles. I think the IG-18 might win this if it's lucky, yeah. So gets the 2 men killed in one shot at close range, relatively accurate, so definitely going to happen. IG-18 now under fire from the Honey directly. That's another IG-18 going to be going down. That's not good at all. And this Nebelwerfer is in a bit of a sticky spot. Maybe it'd be time to pick that up with the Opel Blitz munition and do a run-up. However, you don't want to give the Honey a chance to kill that, so maybe he's just kind of stuck behind those buildings for now. But definitely not far for włochaty until he kind of loses complete control of this bottom side. If this Honey decides to get aggressive, then it kills the Nebelwerfer. That's pretty much a lot of territory that AmberT can exploit this early into the game. So Stosstroop here and the Panzergrenadiers at close range are going to be taking on the rifle leader. That's a dead rifle leader for sure. Stosstroop might look for a Panzerfaust shot onto the Honey in the future, but the Stug is coming up the road, so there's no need to waste the Stosstroop just yet. That Stug can quite simply just come up here and aim at close range and try and find the kill. AmberT is going to run away from that though. Nebelwerfer is going to be firing at the 6-pounder. Rifles are approaching that at close range, however, and the Nebelwerfer can't fire back at rifles. Nice kill onto the 6-pounder, but definitely just left this Nebelwerfer in a bit of a dodgy position. Honey's getting very aggressive though, and I love this cheeky Panzerschreck that Włochaty has brought in. Really likes this sort of guerrilla style of warfare, where he relies a lot on his infantry in this division, and its AT capabilities. So that Nebelwerfer almost definitely dead. Opal Blitz munition actually gets captured. Over on this top side, the Stug 3, that's going to be taking shots at the Universal Carrier. Didn't find the kill onto the Honey though, because the Honey did hide, but the Stosstroop still trying to make ground elsewhere. And I love this sort of play from both players. AmberT has made a lot of ground by sort of taking advantage of that Nebelwerfer that was on its own, but allowing the second shot to get the kill onto the Honey. That's a little bit of a waste there for AmberT. He was probably sort of microing elsewhere and just didn't notice, and the Panzerschreck managing to get the second shot off, yeah, is just less than ideal. But AmberT was briefly pushing a +2. On this bottom side though, the 231 at close range going to be taking out the Honey. That is a very, very nice kill indeed, and both of the tanks that were supporting the rifles as they continued to push have been killed, and a lot of these rifle squads are getting pretty low on men. Like 2 units of rifles here, they have just come under fire from the Stern Pioneers. They're going to be taken out, and without the Honeys to stop Włochaty's infantry from pushing forwards, this could get very, very ugly for AmberT. So 6-pounder is going to take out the 231. Really nice placement of that 6-pounder, making sure that it did get up, sort of takes Włochaty by surprise. 6-pounder though does return the kill up here with another Stosstroop going down. So these Honeys are being paid for, but this one I think is going to come under fire from the Stug 3 now. Stug 3 at close range. Oh, almost got the shot off, but not quite. Crocodile's on its way though. So this Crocodile can definitely prevent this Stug 3 from being a problem if it gets a decent engagement. But the pushback now from Włochaty is massive down here. He's bringing in multiple Stosstroop. He's got the Stern Pioneers and Pioneers. Just a very sort of big focus on close range combat for Włochaty. He definitely needs to get some smoke down here though. He's already used the smoke from these Stosstroop, so they're not getting any help. But these Stosstroop in the meantime have managed to get very, very close. He doesn't want to let them get hit by the Piat before they unload, so that's why I believe the Stosstroop were unloaded there. 232 coming across, really good support vehicle for this kind of infantry engagement. Stern Pioneers, they're going to be pushing all the way into this town, unload again just before the rifle leader can use its Piat. And, wow, there's just so much pressure coming in here from Włochaty. With both the Honeys gone, these 20mm autocannon units are really, really good choices. And just the spam of infantry, especially high quality close range infantry, will overrun rifles quite nicely. So, unit of rifles going down there. 2 units of rifles have been taken out there. Assault Pioneers are going to be used to take out some Stosstroop. Sad to see that those weren't microed out the way. Meanwhile, on this top side, 232 did get sniped by the 2-star 6-pounder. So here comes the Crocodile. Its attack moving forwards. These things are very slow though. Whether or not it can kill this Stug in a timely fashion remains to be seen, especially since there is a Panzerschreck that is kind of covering this road. There's no need for this Stug 3 to force that engagement if it doesn't need to, and I think Włochaty knows that. So just going to be taking a step back, maybe try and let the Crocodile get closer, but the Panzerschreck actually revealing itself by shooting at the carrier, and I'm not a massive fan of that, honestly. But either way, a kill to be had for Włochaty, and it's back to sort of 50-50, 51% in favour of Włochaty with this sort of salient coming through where he controls AmberT's side of the town. But AmberT still has a pretty strong position down here. He does have Assault Pioneers, which is a very nice investment, kind of counteracts a lot of the close range infantry that Włochaty is going to be using. Assault Pioneers in this case didn't even throw a grenade though. Stern Pioneers just using the flames to evict them from the building and then falling back. So just incredibly tense game so far, because it felt like Włochaty had just completely lost this bottom side and it was going to get to a point where those Honeys could overrun him completely. But this singular Panzerschreck and the 231 SBW managed to kill the honeys, and it just left the door open for the infantry to come back. So incredible plays so far from both sides. Panzergrenadiers here, they're going to be engaging rifles at range, but under fire from both the Crocodile and all of these rifle squads combined is going to be trouble for the Panzergrenadiers. Stug 3, wow, that honey is lucky to be alive. Generally, you don't see that 2-star Stug miss its first shots very often, and in that case it did. So AmberT gets away with it. And this honey is going to be falling back. I'm not entirely sure what hit that, unless it was the off-map here. It might have been this off-map, this 170mm off-map. Meanwhile though, Stern Pioneers are pushing through the trees here. They're going to be forcing out those Assault Pioneers. The Assault Pioneers are actually doing damage at range though, which isn't something you'd see very often since they only have the Lee Enfield rifle that they can use. As the Stern Pioneers get closer, the grenades can be thrown, and in that case they were. Stern Pioneers go down. Oh, nasty kill there. This 6-pounder just done so much work. Takes out the Stug 3 in the town, and now a lot of the infantry is going to be under a lot of pressure. Also takes out the 222 in the mid. Yeah, this 6-pounder, this 2-star 6-pounder on its own has just done so much damage, and I sort of commended Katie Laker in the past for good AT management. But in this case, like, AmberT is showing it as well. Like, getting this 6-pounder forwards on the bottom side helped him clean up the 231 after he lost his honey. This 6-pounder in the mid has been perfectly placed to sort of get these really nice line of sights onto a lot of units that have come its way. IG-18 now, though, going to be trying to take advantage of the slow-moving 6-pounder by firing at it. It needs to be falling back, otherwise it is going to die, and, well, just commending the AT management there, and then it's gone. But that's unfortunate. Honey here has come in to sort of assist rifles as it pushes through the town, and there's not really much that Włochaty can do against this kind of constructed push. As long as the rifles are in front of the honey, he can find the units that are a problem and not run into them. At least I would hope so. Panzergrenadier is going to get killed off before it gets a kill. It was very risky there for the honey to get that close though, tell you that much. So off-map coming down once again onto this town is going to sort of stop the push for now. It allows Włochaty to retreat his men. IG-18 is going to be engaging some of the infantry further down here. 232 going to be taking on Stuart Recce, but not doing too much. AmberT looks in a very, very strong position still. I mentioned this before, even with Włochaty's comeback, it looks like AmberT has managed to get these Assault Pioneers into the perfect position to sort of counteract Włochaty's infantry play. So that's really good. Honey though, that's going to come under fire from the Panzergrenadier. Not really much that AmberT can do about that. Second shot will likely find the kill, unless the honey gets out of range in time. So good that he spotted that kill. Not going to let that happen too many times in this match. The pressure is being put on down here. We can see that Stern Pioneers and this Pioneer are moving up. Ooh, very nice off map though onto these Assault Pioneers. It's going to pin down the majority of them, and that now allows these Stern Pioneers to move forwards and find the surrenders onto them without them even throwing their grenades. And that is one way to deal with an entrenched position of AmberT, bringing in this off-map that, honestly, I don't see used very often. Włochaty has just got such a nice sort of own style with the 17th SS that I don't see many other people use. He has such a reliance on his infantry. And then some just sort of outliers like the 170mm off-map, just like utilizing this many Stern Pioneers. It's just kind of odd in my opinion when you do have stuff like Stormtroop and Pioneers, but just loves the focus on the 100-meter range, knows his game plan, and it's very, very nice to see. Spitfire Mark 9 does come in with the bombs here to try and take out the 232, doesn't quite find it. I don't think it even pinned it down, so that's unfortunate. 17-pounder though, not sure quite where that's heading. Wasn't really a reason to bring in a 17-pounder on this bottom side, because there hasn't been any significant tanks being seen on the side of Włochaty just yet. He's been almost solely reliant on infantry. So just bringing in things like these crocodiles is a much better choice, and it's good to see them coming in now, as they will walk all over these Sturm Pioneers. Another crocodile can be able to push down this bottom side as well. So I think that AmberT, again, still in the driving seat, but these 232 and the two 232s in the top side are going to be breaking through a lot of this infantry, and the use of these 20mm units is coming to fruition on this top side, but that's going to be counteracted by the Sherman 2. I like that choice of unit a lot. It will definitely clean up a lot of 20mm units even at close range. But look at this infantry from włochaty here. There's just so much of it, even if a lot of it is now quite low on men. Can he really out attrition the 15th infantry? Because that's not something that I ever really thought was possible, but I guess if you're relying almost solely on 100-meter range units, then maybe it is possible. Stosh Troop going to be getting up in the face of the Bren group. Easy done. 6-pounder gets taken out here by the 232. This Sherman 2 is just going to be attack moving round, trying to find shots onto these 20mm units. But another Sherman 2 on that top side would be preferable, because otherwise you kind of leave it to potentially be flanked, especially against this many 20mm units. But both the Crocodile and Sherman 2 covering the crossfire, so that's pretty nice. Multiple Pack 38s have been brought up though. That actually takes out a Honey in the mid. There is just so much going on everywhere. This Crocodile slowly attack moving through this town, trying to flame out some of the units of włochaty. Panzerschreck does get taken out here. Panzergrenadiers engaging the rifles. Sherman 2 is going to be looking for the attack move around the top side, but might end up bumping into the Panzerschreck. There is just so much to keep an eye on. This Crocodile can pretty much shrug off anything the Sturm Pioneers can throw at it. But in this case, I think the Sturm Pioneer is just trying to utilize smoke to get out its way. Not entirely sure, but the 15 front arm of that Crocodile means it can pretty much ignore the flames that the Sturm Pioneer puts its way. That main gun just going to be finishing off the Sturm Pioneer at that range. So the last 232 does go down. The Pioneers are pinned and the rifles could maybe take advantage of that. This Crocodile's finishing off a Panzergrenadier squad. 222 does go down on the bottom side to the rifles at close range. Pioneer's now going to be trying to push up. I'm not entirely sure what happened to this Crocodile, but it did die. And we see this Crocodile, well, that's just cleaning house in this town. So AmberT maintaining this lead currently. And it's just going pretty well for AmberT. I don't see anything wrong with his strategy per se. The use of the Crocodiles along with these rifles is just really nice. But this Panzerschreck coming through here and getting the internal fire onto the Sherman 2 is really nice. Allows the Befehlspanzer 4 to engage that. Rifles are on the way. Sherman 2 is only just going to be brought in as reinforcement. Like I mentioned, the second one would have been a good idea, but in this case, there was only one, and the Panzer IV was able to take advantage of that. Pack 38 tries to go for the cheeky shot onto the Crocodile at close range. Crocodile's going to be engaging the Stug 4 now. Stug 4 is actually in a pretty good spot at this range, because you've got 11 AP versus 12 armor. That's going to be at the 500 meter range here. An extra 5 AP, so 16 AP. But the Stug 4 has an inherent 1200 meter range, so at 5 it gets a +7, which is actually 19 AP. But in this case, the Crocodile wins anyway. Gonna get the kill. Both had a big chance to kill each other. But we see the Honey go down in the mid to a Pack 38. We see the Pack 43 come through and kill the Crocodile. The Stug did go down, but at least that Crocodile won't be able to push any further. That's something that włochaty can kind of look at and know from now on. Stosh Troop have found their way all the way through this top side, eventually get killed. Panzer IV is going to assist some infantry left as it sort of continues to go forwards. But now we're in Phase C. I'm feeling like both players are going to end up running out of infantry availability. AmberT has absolutely flooded this town, but I guess there is a potential that włochaty might just ignore it and focus on this top side where he has really found a hole currently to sort of make that ground. 223 is going to get really aggressive here. I'm not entirely sure what that's trying to do, but either way, IG-18s are going to be able to kill off those rifles nice and easy. Panzer IV gets into cover, doesn't want to be killed by the Sherman II or the Crocodile. This has just been such an intense map, and 465 points in favour of AmberT with a 50-50 at this stage in the game. It's still anyone's game, especially considering włochaty does seem to still be making ground on this top side, and there seems to be a lack of like heavy armor now that the majority of the crocodiles have been killed. That this crocodile is the only one left. If this goes down, things could get pretty ugly for AmberT. All that takes is like another Pak 43 or even the Panzer IV engaging at a close range. So anything like that. And the other thing is, crocodiles, they turn really slowly. So in this case, where it's sort of shown it's facing towards the IG, it gives the Panzer IV a good chance to just come around and knock that. But in this case, not quite going to happen. Pak 38, what's that firing at? Oh, it has a shot through the buildings towards the Sherman II. Interesting. Rifles do get pinned. These Panzergrenadiers are going to get hit by the flames. Will likely end up dying because of that. 51% now in favour of włochaty. Going to be cleaning these rifles out this top side, and since honestly there's been so many rifles invested in this bottom side, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough to sustain the top side. Although saying that, more infantry is on its way. Never doubt the ability of the 15th Infantry Scots to bring in lots and lots of infantry. Panzer IV-H going to be going for the next shot here. If he can get a shot on target, I was going to say it had the potential to pin down. The Crocodile was moving though, so it wasn't aiming back, and now that's going to maybe be a pinned Crocodile, and the Panzer IV will have all day long to kill that off. Although the Sherman II, that's going to be trying to get the flank onto the Panzer IV, but the Panzerschreck's got it covered. Very nice job indeed. Panzer IV-H has got all day long to kill this, and the Crocodile goes down. Pioneers are going to be able to move in this town and sweep out the rifles. This Sherman II going to maybe be pushing up. Now, I'm not sure if this Panzerschreck was spotted falling back, but now would be the chance to kill the Panzer IV. But the Panzer IV did just move around this tree line anyway to prevent that kill from happening. And there is a Pak 43 coming up the road that will be able to cover that as well. So things really swinging in włochaty's favour in this top side. There's double Nebelwerfer coming in for the bottom side for włochaty, maybe just to prevent any future infantry pushes from AmberT, because there isn't too much really to stop these rifles from just continuing their push. These 221s, for example, don't have any HE values, so they can't kill rifles or even fire at them. The only things that could stop the rifles moving forwards are these Pioneers, and that's just when they get into the 1,000 or 100 meter range, sorry. So Sherman II did die on this top side. A new one has been brought in and is on its way. Pak 43 though does have line of sight, I believe. It's going to be firing at the rifles though. Sherman II takes a shot at the IG-18. IG-18 firing back. A lot of these rifles are coming under a lot of pressure, and there could be just a serious lack of command here that would allow AmberT to just be completely surrendered. Nebelwerfers are just firing away preemptively by the looks of things, just smashing this bottom side, actually doing a lot of damage to the rifles, even killing off that command carrier. That's very good for włochaty, because it stops that Bren from being a fire support unit. Panzer IV finishes off the Sherman II. We can see these rifles continuously under pressure because of the Befehl Panzer IV. Weapon jam on this Sherman II is not good at all. And honestly, this Panzer IV will be able to take advantage of that with the IG-18 continuously hitting it. Wow. 56% territory lead now for włochaty. It looks like AmberT is just running out of steam. He doesn't have anything left now to deal with this Panzer IV. And that is a huge problem. Like, the 17-pounder would be ideal at this point just to take it out. But with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left on the map, a +1 is going to be enough to declare włochaty the winner. So he's only got to hold on to this lead right now and he will win. But, I mean, at the current state, it looks like there's a potential for an entire breakthrough here from włochaty, which would just be devastating for AmberT, who had such a good game for such a long time, but eventually, over time, the crocodiles got picked off, and it really undermined the strength of the push that AmberT had. IJ-teens just going to be running over these rifles. They're going to just get annihilated before they can surrender. This 222 creating a very nice salient, +2 on the board. Pak-43 takes out these rifles. Those two Nebelwerfer strikes just completely annihilated this bottom side rifles, and it's kind of left the door open down here if włochaty wants to sort of probe it, but I think he is definitely lacking his own infantry. We can't see any more being brought in when it has been a style that he's been relying on. So definitely tells me that he's getting low on that, and these pioneers are pretty much all he's got, and that's why a lot of IGs have come in as well. But almost up to 65% territory lead. Marder 3 is under fire from the Sherman 2, which is not good in this mid area. But it looks like it may just be able to fall back out of the way. Panzer 4 going to be covering this road now. Sherman 2 has come in to kind of contest the Panzer 4, but gets one popped. That is just so devastating for AmberT. Any attempt at this point to bring back this game has just been completely annihilated, and all of the ground or points that he had made have just been cancelled out in this last 5 to 10 minutes. Like, this is 405 points now for włochaty, and that's slowly, well, not even slowly anymore, very quickly approaching AmberT's 465, which just wasn't enough of a lead to stop any late game push from włochaty from coming through. But I don't think it's even the fact that the włochaty getting to the late game has been what has mattered. I think it's AmberT's maybe like basically allowing the crocodiles to die, or maybe even włochaty finding the kills onto the crocodile, because it seemed like just in general włochaty's been catching out AmberT across the map for the entire game, just to the point where it's not even AmberT's fault, it's just włochaty playing very, very well. And yeah, AmberT had such a commanding position, but somehow włochaty managed to pick it apart, find the holes in the defense, and just break through. Like, this is a very, very nice breakthrough up here, and another crocodile is on its way, but whether or not that can hold back this Befehl Panzer 4 remains to be seen, especially with the Pak-43 now getting into position. This is going to be nasty, I'll tell you that much. Pak-43 is turning. This Befehl Panzer 4 probably wants to back up, because then the crocodile might continue to push forwards, but even if it doesn't, it looks like the IG combined with the Panzer 4 is pinning this crocodile. That could just be a pin kill there. Nebelwerfer comes into this bottom side, kills off another unit of rifles. There is going to be a Churchill 6 on the way just to sort of close off that push, but yeah, the crocodile has been forced back. Pak-43 just looking for line of sight if it can find it, and then that being 2-star with the command nearby from the Befehl Panzer 4 will definitely be very accurate and potentially get a kill, but the crocodile getting out of range. Bomber does come in from AmberT just to force back this 221 that's been causing issues. That's going to be strafing the IG as well. But on a single use of anti-air or air force from włochaty this entire game, continuously just focusing on the ground, and now we see the Stug 4 getting involved up here. That's going to be continuing to poke the crocodile from a distance. Befehl Panzer 4 is going to be able to now push up aggressively as well. 222 is engaging the Stuart Remy. 617 pounder in the mid. Can it find the kill onto the Stug? It cannot. Stug 3 gets back into cover. We'll be able to find the kill onto the Stuart Remy, which may open quite a lot of ground as well. Pak-43 also has line of sight. It's dead. So that's a lot of ground gained here for włochaty. And 61%, still sitting around the same level, but this crocodile finally goes down. I believe the Stug 4 picked up that kill, and the Befehl Panzer 4 Well, that's going to be smashing some more of this infantry as the push continues to come through here for Włochaty. But yeah, since losing the majority of his infantry, Włochaty has played around it so damn well. And I'm pretty sure AmberT is out at this point since he is heavily reliant on his recon now. Both sides using up their entire infantry tab. Insane. And AmberT is going to surrender. And after 36 minutes and 5 seconds, what a game that was. Absolutely incredible. I didn't feel like AmberT could have lost that. But just Włochaty utilizing the Panzerschrecks, the AT guns, like the Pak 38 spam into the mid was just so smart. And it just ended up working out. And you can see that it kind of helped because 3,495 kills to 2,470 losses in that long of an attritional game is quite significant. And it comes down to, I think, the majority of the crocodile kills. If we jump over to the kills, we can see that the rifles did actually fare quite well against the Stoßtrupp for the most part. But the Phase B cocktail of units that Włochaty used in the Sturmpioneers, Stoßtrupp, and the Pioneers, like those are all units that are exceptional at the 100-meter range. And as long as they have the fire support from like IG-18s, then they can do extremely well. We did see a lot of Stoßtrupp die, I think unnecessarily, when they could have used their smoke. But with the amount of infantry that Włochaty tries to use, I can imagine it can be extremely difficult to micro out that much smoke in such a short amount of time. This crocodile though, nicely done, came through the town, killed off all the Sturmpioneers, took out the Stug 4. But that was pretty much it. Like after that occurred, and the crocodile started to die, you can see how little kills AmberT started to get, whilst the losses from AmberT, they're pretty... You know, he doesn't get that many kills early on, but then late game, well, the Panzer 4 comes through very, very nicely, gets 3 Sherman 2 kills, gets a crocodile, and we see like Sherman 2s and Honeys going down all over the place. The crocodile goes down to the Stug 4, this Pak 43, again 2 crocodiles, and again, this was sort of the moment where that crocodile had got all those kills, and then afterwards, Włochaty just cleaned house. It was absolutely insane, the comeback. Really, really great game. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. So, Włochaty going to be moving on to the final straight away. AmberT drops down to the lower bracket final. He's got another chance to bring it back and maybe get his revenge on Włochaty. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.